Music.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, hits to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst breaking tackle after tackle, sweeps down the sideline. Throws off bodies like clothes after a marathon.
Young, back to throw. In trouble, he's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 50, the 10. He died. Touchdown, 49ers.
Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in post, and it's good. Touchdown! Touchdown, 49ers!
It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, throws the slant to the left side. It's Russell intercepted. The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption. Navarro Bowman running it all the way for the touchdown. No greater redemption.
The San Francisco 49ers. We can do whatever we want.
Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? Your boy is back, man. Guys, March Madness at midnight, day 15. Now, I know today's technically the 16th because it's after midnight, but y'all know what it is. Load up the questions. Now, we don't have a lot of people in here tonight, so that means that I'm going to get a lot of food questions from my man, DJ Malone. Guys, load up the questions. Kafefi, I see you in here, man. Yo, do you remember? All right, let me introduce my guest really quick. Take yourself off mute. Oh, he's off mute now. There he goes. All right, so his name down there, he's Kenan Harris. Who were you a fan of, in case they can't tell?
Niners. No, I'm not a fan of the Niners. I'm seeing all the Niners shit. Panthers.
Let's go. I got him. All right, we already
won. I was rooting for y'all this postseason. I think you know that.
Yes. Yeah. So, guys, this is my cousin. We used to have a podcast called not Students of the Game. That was me and Josh. SJGR, which stood for S as in poop, just got real. All right. So, my man, let's go. We about to get a three-way in here. Pause. All right, so this is what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to send my man the link, and what we're going to do is the 15 minutes are going to start once he jumps in here, okay? So, Smitty, I know you like the name Smitty, Duck, but it's not that Smitty.
Are you sure? Sure?
I'm positive it's not that Smitty. I'm 100% positive. So when Smitty gets in here, this is going to be good. Guys, load up the questions. As soon as Smitty gets in here, we're going to do the try box, and then we're going to just bang these things out, and I'm gonna have some conversations with my guys, okay? This is going to be good. George Seifert did coach the Panthers. LOL. Hard pause. Mike. I didn't mean a three-way like that. Come on. See, I can't even make a verbal mistake, and they just start getting me. You know what I'm saying? But
I see.
It's all good. It's all good, man. I love doing these shows, man. They're 15 minutes long, and I just get to answer questions because during the regular shows, when it's me and the guys on, or if it's just me and I have like a format that I'm sticking to, the biggest problem is sticking to the script and not getting everybody's questions. People usually pay contributions so I can read their questions and answer them during the live shows. But on these kind of platforms, I just answer questions in order. So they load them up in here, and we just have fun for 15 minutes. It's going to be cool. So once Smitty gets in here, the clock is going to start. This is the Panthers fan, guys. We're hoping to attend the game this year. The Niners and the Panthers do play each other. I also want to go to the Raiders game because I'm dying to get to that stadium. I'm not going to the draft. And I can't stand the Panthers when they were in the NFC West. I mean, I see
you, Frisco. What's up, man?
Oh, man, here we go. Mike and Kenan. Okay, yeah. Oh, he spelled the name. Oh, because it's in the box. Never mind. He spelled your name right.
They'd have butchered that otherwise.
All right, so once Smitty joins, did I hit send on the text? I think I did. Yeah, I sent it to him. All right. So I shot him a text. I wonder if he wants it on Twitter, though. Once Smitty gets in here, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be a quick show. We're going to run through this thing. We're going to blow through it like it's nothing because what happens is you start talking, one question end up taking 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be my first time trying to do it with multiple people on here. Normally it's just me, and I just bang through them real quick. Last year, I had my man Brian. Brian was with me every show, man. My man went on a family vacation and was still jumping on the shows with me, like from the hotel room and everything. I was like, yo, that's commitment. That was my guy, man. I miss having Brian on here. Look, they got questions in here specifically for you. Oh, this is going to be fun. I hope we get down to him. So, tell everybody how we know each other.
We family, cousins. This is my big cousin right here. I've only known him my entire life. He's literally always looked out for me in every way possible, and I don't know what else to say beyond that.
All right, Smitty, give me a thumbs up when you're ready.
Too. I'll say that too. He's one of my closest friends, so it's not just a blood relation. Talk about him there every day.
We got the thumbs up from Smitty, so we're gonna pop him in here. All right, so let's see if I can do this. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, y'all ready to do this, man? Smitty, you all right down there? You good, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm just navigating all this new smoke season. I absolutely love it. All the dominoes falling and causing other dominoes to fall in different orders. Baker Mayfield, is he going to Indianapolis? Then what happens to Jimmy? Bro, I'm ready. I mean, who knows?
All right, so here we go.
It's gonna get crazy.
This is gonna be a lot of fun. All right, so we're gonna run through these. If you guys can't answer the questions, don't worry about it. Like, because people are used to me just being the only one. But now that they know that there's gonna be 3 people in here, I'm sure they'll start cycling. So we're starting at 6 minutes. We're gonna rock this thing to 21 minutes, and then we'll be out of here. Okay. So the first question is from DJ Malone. What did you guys have for dinner? All right. So I guess we can all answer that. I made a big ass steak tonight. A garlic butter steak. That was it. I didn't have anything else. Just a massive piece of steak. It was so big I didn't even finish it. That was my dinner tonight. What about you guys? What y'all have?
I grilled some salmon, and I had some steamed broccoli, and air fried some steak fries.
Oh, Smitty got pictures. Hold up. Let me zoom in.
Steak sandwich.
Okay.
Fries. I mean, we're thinking alike here, Mike. Steaks.
It all got. So I started with steak. He said salmon and fries, and then you got steak and fries. I mean, it was all. See how it all tied together? It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Night. All right. His other question was from my wife, but she's not out here. I think he thought that's who the guest was going to be. He says, "What foods did you crave during each of your pregnancies?" My mom craved maple walnut ice cream before having me. And then his final question is, where does Jimmy get traded? I won't try to answer for all of my wife's pregnancies, but there was this one pregnancy she had, DJ, where all she wanted was chocolate water ice from Rita's. Never before and never after. And I was buying this shit so often that I would show up to the Rita's, and they'd be like, "Okay, Mr. Andrews, we know what you want." And I didn't even know Rita's sold product in the half-gallon containers. I was coming home with half-gallon containers of this chocolate water ice stuff. I never tried it. I don't know what it tastes like. I can't imagine it tastes good. But where does Jimmy get traded? So this is something that we can all answer real quick. Let's go back to Smitty, and then we'll go with Kenan, and then we'll I'll give my final thought.
You can call me Duck. It's fine.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let me switch. Let me switch cameras here. It's upside down. I have the Colts, Saints, Seahawks, Panthers as the only teams that are in need of a quarterback right now, right? And so I have it all right here. Colts, Saints, Seahawks, Panthers. So much matters on what happens with Watson here. Like if Watson lands with the Saints or he lands with the Panthers, then you have 3 teams left. If Baker goes to Indy, the Niners don't have an option. I think he's either released or he's retained, which will drive me out of my mind. I will lose it, guys. If Jimmy G's on this roster walking into the next coming weeks and months, because they're under this delusional thinking that you can trade him later once he proves he's healthy, what are you going to miss out on as you continue to wait and wait and wait? A DJ slips through your fingers. Debo gets more expensive every single day you wait. Every little dime you save, you're going to lose 2 times, 10 times more later. Like, I think Jimmy's released. If he's not released, he's staying on the roster, and that's going to be detrimental to Trey's, upcoming months of development. You got to hand the keys over to him officially. So I'm going to say there's no way he gets traded. Who wants a $27 million quarterback that just went through shoulder surgery that is injury prone? When you have you have Minshew, you have Winston, you have Mariota, you have 3 or 4 rookie quarterbacks that some teams would be like, I understand he might not do as well out the gate, but Jimmy's not one of the best 4 options left. Dare I say he's not even the 32nd quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion.
Wow. Let me throw Jimmy some bail before Kenan answers. So one, this is a very, I hate to say the word typical, but this is a standard surgery year. This isn't something that's going to have a high risk of something negative happening. The 49ers did open up Jimmy's injury, his medical books to all teams who were interested in him. So they clearly have nothing to hide. Normally they can just say no to that. They didn't. And the other thing is this: Jimmy's not going to go to a team that is in the middle of a rebuild. He's going to go to a team that's on the cusp of thinking, hey, we're competitive, like the Steelers. You know what I'm saying? Like the Colts. You know what I mean? He's going to go to a team that feels like, hey, if we get him now for a year or two, we can still be competitive. And then we can get someone else, whether it be in the draft this year or the draft next year, and groom him while Jimmy is still here. So I'm not going to give my answer yet, but I wanted to put that out there. All right.
Jimmy G's trade clause is up tomorrow, right?
That's right. So he doesn't even get
he doesn't have a choice.
And that could be a big reason as to why he hasn't gone anywhere yet. Maybe he's saying, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. And then boom, tomorrow, his ass is gone. All right, Kenan, what do you got?
I think he's going to the Colts. I don't know why. That's just been my gut feeling all along that he's going to end up, especially they got rid of Carson. Everybody knew that was happening. They got, 2 seconds for him or something like that? They've got the cat. I don't think it takes a first to get Jimmy. I like him. I would actually like him on the Panthers. He'd be a huge upgrade over Darnold. That's for dang sure. But, yeah, my gut feeling says he'd go to the Colts because that team, everything you just described on the cusp, the rest of that roster is ready. And you just need somebody to hand that ball off to Taylor and
just make passes consistently. Yeah.
Yep.
My conspiracy theory is this, guys. It's a bit of a loaded one, but I think Jimmy Garoppolo is being held up by Deshaun Watson. Not that the same teams are interested in him. I think Deshaun Watson's going to go to the NFC. I think Jimmy's going to go to the AFC. But here's what I think might happen. You guys have to remember who the GM was over there in Houston. It's Nick Caserio. Nick Caserio was there when Jimmy Garoppolo was in New England. All right. So there's a familiarity there, and he trusts that he can get some good stuff out of Jimmy because he saw Jimmy in practice. He's seen Jimmy get to the Super Bowl and get to the NFC Championship and go out there and do nothing but win 70% of the games that he plays. Right. I think that once Watson is moved, now they have some bargaining chips. If they truly do get 3 first-round picks for Jimmy Garoppolo, for Deshaun Watson, what could end up happening is you have Jimmy say, I want to go to the Colts or Houston and let them get into a little bidding war. The Colts don't have a first-round pick. If they say we're going to go to a third, Houston can say, well, we just got 3 firsts. We'll give you guys a second. And now that forces Indy to say, all right, we'll give you a second and a fourth. I think that's a little back and forth right there. This whole thing with Baker Mayfield is new. I think he stays in Cleveland, so I won't include them. But if by chance he does leave, they feel like they have a good enough defense where they can be competitive also. And that division is going to be up for grabs for a long time. I think that division slowly becomes like the NFC East, where you just see different guys winning every single year. Not that they're bad, but all those teams are so good and so close to each other that it's going to be a difference of 1 or 2 games that determines the winner of that division. All right. Let's see here. What else we got here? So, all right, here we go. So, Mike, when are we going to go back to field or for another field kick? So I did this punt pass kick thing on here years ago. Me and Nick went out to a field and did it. And I don't know the next time I'm going to do that, Jerry. I have to figure out when we can do something like that. That was fun. Maybe something to do this summer. All right. They asked, Mike, why are we not releasing D Ford? Because D Ford keeps on making it harder and harder to get rid of him. Not because he's holding the team by the balls, but he's got a contract that if you cut him, you end up paying more than what you have for keeping him on the team. And so he restructures over and over. This is the second restructure. He freed up $5 million for the 49ers today. It was actually $4.96 million. And that's why you can't get rid of him. So now it's cheaper to cut him. I mean, cheaper to keep him. You know, it's like being in a bad marriage. All right, you're in a bad marriage, but what happens if you lose half of what you got? It's cheaper to stay, cheaper to keep her. All right. That has nothing to do with how I feel about my personal marriage, guys. I know how the comments are going to come in here soon. That's not how I feel. All right. Let me see here. All right, here we go, guys. I think this is one that we can all answer. Out of the NFC teams that might get Watson, Eagles, Giants, Lions, Saints, 49ers, Falcons, Panthers, Seahawks, who even compares to the weapons Watson would have in San Francisco. I hope he forces his way here for the low. Which one of those teams do you guys think have the best weapons for Watson. I'm gonna say this: take the 49ers out of it.
Yeah,
because if they're looking for all that crazy compensation that they're saying that they want for him, the Niners don't have it. We don't have a first-round pick for the next 3 years. This year, next year, we do have one the year after that. So I'm sorry, we don't have one for this year or next year, and they don't want a 2025 first-round pick for Deshaun Watson. So, which one of those teams do you guys think? And he already said no to the Seahawks, by the way, so you can take them off the list also.
Yeah, Niners are not an option. And that was shot down. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But here's the thing: is we already know there's 3 teams, potentially 4 now, that are going to have offers on the table, and Watson's not meeting with anybody that the Texans haven't already stamped approval on the trade package. Yep. The 3 trade packages that are currently out there from Carolina, from the Saints, and from Cleveland, the Browns, all 3 teams.
The Falcons also, right?
I don't know if I think the trade package might be accepted. We haven't got confirmation on that, but the Texans have literally said we approve the trade package if Watson decides he wants to go to Carolina, to Cleveland, or to New Orleans. Houston's already approved it, and which means it's a guaranteed 3 first-rounders and some. Every single one of those scenarios have offered the 3 first-rounders and some. Houston's okay with any one of the 3. Now, do we know if Christian McCaffrey's included in the deal, that Carolina sent? And then Watson's going to be like, absolutely not, because you would be absolutely crazy to want to literally cross paths with him. Okay, McCaffrey, you go that way, I'll go that way. What weapons does he have left? That's not happening. I don't know what the deal looks like, but there's no way people keep talking about that. Christian McCaffrey would have to be in that deal. He wouldn't be in that deal. It wouldn't happen. New Orleans, Seattle would be interesting, even though it's been shot down because he's got DK, he's got Lockett. That would be a pretty good, place to go for weapons, so to speak. I think the best options for him long-term, probably New Orleans or Carolina, New Orleans. Cleveland would be good right out of the gate. They could be good long-term too, but I don't know. I don't know if the Giants aren't even an option. The Lions aren't even an option. Those aren't even on the table. Those teams haven't offered anything that's been accepted. The other 3 teams have. So
that's been reported.
You what?
That's been reported.
True. There could be something.
The Giants are players in this. I really do.
I don't think he'd want to go to the Giants. I don't think he'd want to. I don't think they have the weaponry that in talking about bad offensive line, talking about. I mean, Dable's good with quarterbacks, but Watson's not somebody that needs to be tweaked or molded. He is who he is. He's a stud, and I don't think he wants to go to New York. It just doesn't feel. There's no wide receiver weapons. You could say Kadarius Toney's going to be good, but he's also kind of a little head case. I don't think he's going to the New York Giants. I don't think he would approve that.
All right, Kenan, what you got?
So I think it's. I'm looking at the question. The NFC teams that are still on the table, we're eliminating the Seahawks and the Niners, right? So I would say it's between New Orleans and Carolina right now. I'm probably a little biased with Carolina because I think the potential for Marshall Trimble and Shi Smith is there long term, right? So it's not just DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, and knock on wood that Christian McCaffrey finally stays healthy, right? But like Smitty pointed out, long term, New Orleans knows how to retool. They just get weapons late in the draft. Seems like at will, we're just going to take this guy and make him a guy, and everybody's going to love him. So long term, it's probably New Orleans. As it stands right now, it's probably a coin flip between Carolina and New Orleans, I would think.
Quick question for you. Smitty said he wouldn't trade McCaffrey to get.
We can't. The way his contract is structured,
yeah,
we're freeing up so much cap space now. We'd be murdered. It would kill us to get rid of him right now, to move him off.
Yeah, it costs more to get rid of him.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. This one here is Mike. What up? Do you see us using a lot of our compensatory picks to maybe get a first round pick? I don't think so. I don't think they hold enough value to move all the way up. You would have to package basically 2/3, a fourth, and your second to try to get to the bottom of the first round based off of the point chart. And I just don't think there's anybody worth moving up that much for compared to the other players. This is a deep draft where you're going to get a lot of good players in the second, third, and fourth round. So I don't think it's worth sacrificing all of that for one specific player.
Do you think it would be worth it if you could move up? You might have to give up a little more than what you just spat off. but give up a little more to get high enough to get Sauce or Stingley. I mean, like those would be
right.
I understand where people want multiple picks, but a lot of times you guys don't even use some of the draft selections. You know what I mean? It's like why not go get a difference?
I don't think Sauce would be there. I think the best y'all get to the back of the first round. I think Sauce would be off the board. I think
no, I'm saying climb higher. Like give up a little more.
I see what you're saying. Give up enough capital. I don't know what y'all's draft board. I don't know what picks y'all have. I know y'all don't have the first because of the Trey Lance trade, but I don't know how close y'all are to the first round to begin. In order,
we were in the NFC Championship, so at worst, I mean, or at best, we're picking. You know what I'm saying? Like 60,
the back end of the
So I think we have 61, if I'm not mistaken. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I mean, no team would trade that far back.
Hey, but Sauce is nice. So
he's nice. He is nice. The 49ers don't believe in drafting high corner prospects.
Right.
They believe in building the defensive line, and then you take care of the back end afterwards. You know, the pass rush is what's going to really make it better. Here we go. Here's one for Kenan. It says, what's your take on potentially trading for Watson?
I love Watson, the player. I want to see I just want to see how it plays out. But honestly, overall, I'd be happy about it. But I don't think this coaching staff is right. I think we'd have to give up too much to get him. We're not going to be immediate contenders. That's what we're giving up is most likely the defense, and the defense is our best bet at carrying us anywhere anytime soon. So
what if you could give up 3 first rounders and like a smaller player, or maybe an additional second rounder or something? Would you be a player?
Smaller player. We don't have a second round. So that's the thing too. If you're looking at this year, we have the 6th overall pick, and then we don't pick again until 106. Right.
Damn.
So it's going to be those first round picks and then the players. And to make the players, you're looking at Brian Burns, you're looking at Jeremy Chin, you're looking at our top defenders, our top young defenders, and and probably JC Horn, even though we just drafted him. Like,
but how long is Watson playing though? How long is Watson playing?
I get that. I get the long term. That's why I say long term. I think it's overall good, but we're not going to be overall contenders. I think you have enough time to build a team around him. You've got Watson for 10 more years if you get him, ideally. You know, so
Mike, I know it's not a likely scenario because it's not being talked about seriously, like, so people need to calm down about the Watson to San Francisco talk, but like, let's say it kicked back into gear, because you're right, Mike, when you said that's been reported, sometimes stuff goes under the radar, and the Niners aren't exactly going to broadcast what they want to do. So maybe there is something, I don't know. If it was on the table, would you rather have Trey Lance homegrown, build this thing into an empire, or would you prefer going the Watson route? Like, just curious what you would want if you could control it.
Yeah, as far as which one I would prefer, your heart says you want Trey Lance. You sat here, you made yourself fall in love with him over time, right? But then logic steps in. Trey Lance has played 10 quarters in the NFL, and of those 10, only 4 of them were good. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it doesn't mean that he can't get higher, he can't get better, but you would be grateful if Trey Lance became what Watson is. You understand what I'm saying? And so both of these guys are going to be in the NFL for at least 10 more years, both of them. So I say you can't go wrong. You'd be more in win now mode if you were to go ahead and obtain Watson. You'd be more like, and that would be more exciting to me. But there is some pride in, this is our guy. We got this guy, not that we traded for this guy. I'm that type of person. I like to build through the draft and all that shit. Like, free agency is the tweak, but the draft is like, let's prove it that we can do it. And I love the way the Niners have gone about that. So, I mean, if I wouldn't be upset with either way, if I'm being completely honest with you. But the problem is we traded up and we already used 2 first-round picks to get Watson in the first. I mean, to get Lance in the first. To give up more first-round picks essentially is basically saying, because they're probably going to want Lance in that exchange, right? So that's essentially saying that we're giving up 5 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't do it.
And you don't have any first-rounders this year, so the odds are the Texans are not going to even be interested, because they want all these other teams have first-round capital this year. So that's why I'm saying it's off the table. People need to stop getting crazy about it, but it is fun to entertain it. Like, that's why we do what we do, right? But
absolutely.
I'll say this. Trey Lance will be as good as Deshaun Watson. I firmly believe that. I'm not saying you guys don't feel that too. I feel like this is a Deshaun Watson type player, and I have enough confidence in what I've seen in him, and I wanted him to land in San Francisco, and of the Quad Box show, you guys know that I'm on. I was adamant that the Niners were going to take him when everyone was saying Fields. And it's because I wanted perfect situation to be married to perfect talent. And I truly believe this is when people say you can't compare him to Mahomes, you can't compare him to like Josh Allen. I honestly don't care about that. I'll compare him all day long because what I come from a different angle of being predictive. That's what I do, so like I'm going to come at it a little different than other people. A lot of people are matter of fact. He's played this many quarters. Let's wait and see. I'm not about waiting and seeing. I'm about trying to be, ahead of the curve on it. So for me, I'm telling you all the stuff that I've cranked out over the last 19 years doing what I do. This is one of the bigger gut feelings I have of an up and coming quarterback that I've had since Josh Allen, since Patrick Mahomes, since guys that have been very, very much like him and felt very much like he feels at these early stages. And the situation is unparalleled. Mahomes, you could say at a close to the same kind of situation. Past that, tell me a time when a quarterback with Trey Lance's skill set, a cannon of an arm, 28 touchdown to 0 touchdown to interception ratio, 42 touchdowns total, 0 INTs. Walter Payton Award winner, Jerry Rice Award winner. This is not some guy that came from a small college that didn't do anything. Like he's got a lot of accolades you could bring over and talk about with one season. And what situation have we ever seen where this quarterback, this talented, gets married to this type of situation in offense? It's going to be an amazing show. Can't wait.
I don't like when people say, oh, he's not going to be a Watson, or he's not going to be a Mahomes, or he's not going to be a Josh. Why not? What do they do well that he doesn't do? You know what I'm saying? Why do we have to cap our hopes and ambitions on something because those guys are the tops? Like no one thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be Patrick Mahomes when he got in the NFL. Like he's going to be his name, but he wasn't going to be at that level. No one thought, MVP and championship games every year. Like that wasn't the thought behind it. It was just, hey, this kid has some potential. Let's see what we can get at him. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to cap that with Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance can be that guy. I think Trey Lance can be that good. As long as he learns to freaking slide. Well, as soon as he learns to slide, y'all better watch out. You know what I'm saying?
On top of that, this like look at Joe Burrow, sophomore year. He was not prepared physically because he's coming off that ACL recovery. You're not ready week 1 when that happens. He was not ready. Toward like week 10, he was not ready. And he still came out and did what he did. He was not ready mentally because he had only played less than half of a season. Yes, granted, more games than Trey Lance played, but Trey Lance to counterbalance that played mental. He was taking more mental reps in a playoff experience, going to an NFC championship game. You could say that all kind of balances the scales when it comes to that. On top of that, Burrow had a much worse situation walking into a sophomore year than Trey does. It's like, it's funny when people act like you can't. Yeah. Just like you said, you can't say these things. Yes, you can. And I'm saying it. I don't care what anybody says about it. He is, in my opinion, the closest thing to the next Patrick Mahomes that we'll see in the next 5 years or so.
And that's exactly the mold that he's following after. People forget that Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith for a whole year through the playoff run. You know what I'm saying? Got a couple of quarters of play in there. And then that was it. It's the same exact thing that's happening with this guy. It's the same thing. And I've never, we have not had a chance to see Shanahan hand pick a quarterback to see how he's going to look in his system when he gets a chance to learn instead of being thrust in right away. And I just want to defend something real quick. And then, Kenan, I'll let you speak and then we'll go to the next question. I want to defend something really quick. Smitty, I know you were adamant that it's Lance. And you were like, not Fields, like the field thought. I'm saying the field, no pun intended. But I was one of the people in the field saying it's Fields, right? Because my logic, and I think the people that were with me, was who are we drafting to start day one? I always felt that Lance was going to be a project. He shouldn't be a day one starter. The level of competition, he was 20 years old. Like that's asking a lot for a guy to step in and day one be your starter, right? So you hear Kyle Shanahan talking during the offseason, says, I want a guy like who throws like Drew Brees and runs like Jackson, Lamar Jackson. My brain said, that's Justin Fields. Like that's 100% Justin Fields. And if you want him to start day one, if you're going to trade up to get this guy, you want him to start day one. That's who it's going to be. But if I knew, hindsight tells you they had patience they wanted to let this guy develop for a full year, oh, then easily the pick is going to be Trey Lance. Then if you know that they're not expecting him to start day one, then I would have 100% said Trey Lance, because Trey Lance had the highest ceiling, but also the lowest floor of all the draft prospects. It depended on what system you went to, how soon you forced him to start, so on and so forth. Right now, the 49ers have maximized what this kid needs to be as efficient and as good as he could possibly be starting next season. So that's it. Go ahead, Kenan, and then we'll move to the next question.
I don't remember the question, but I will say if I were y'all, I'd stick with Trey Lance and not blow this thing up at this point. Like, you got a year in with like you said, it's a project. I felt that way about him wherever he landed.
Yep.
Just let's see how it plays. And I trust Shanahan. Frankly, I'm jealous y'all got him and we don't. So
imagine if he went to the Jets and had to start day one. I'm talking about Lance. It would be ugly. It would be ugly.
It looked like Zach Wilson. You know, Zach Wilson's a good quarterback. He could be a really good, but it wasn't a great rookie year. And that's you can't separate situation from talent when people are trying to look. Every hater on Trey Lance right now, every single hater that's saying he's not ready, can't read defenses, can't do this, can't do that. Guess what happens once Trey starts doing those things? They're going to start flipping it to it's because he's in the Niners offense. It's because he's in the Niners offense. Well, enjoy the show, because you can never separate that. That is what it is, you know.
Right. Now, and this is what I always say to that. You tell me one great quarterback, not named Tom Brady, that didn't depend on a system for his greatness. You can't.
Yep.
You can't. Tom Brady's the only one that left and did it somewhere else. Even Peyton Manning, when he got a Super Bowl, wasn't great Peyton Manning anymore. When the one year that he was great,
nothing, but Peyton brought his offense from the Colts to the Broncos.
Right.
So,
and that's what I was going to say. The one year that he was great, they didn't win the Super Bowl. They got embarrassed. It wasn't until the rest of the team stepped it up and carried Peyton onto that Super Bowl that they actually won it. So I'm sorry, Duck, to bring that up.
Nah, it's cool. It's cool. It happened. Listen, I did my one-on-ones with my team yesterday. One of them is the Broncos. The first one, he's a Broncos fan. I went in there to talk about, we talked about work, but I was like, how you feel about the Russell Wilson trade? We got the Super Bowl over y'all. Okay. You're lucky I don't have
to throw it right in your face.
Like,
I like that. Dylan says, I haven't heard a peep about Tart from any team. Do we overvalue him? I'd love to have him back. I don't think we overvalue him. The reason that he's testing free agency shows you that we don't overvalue him. They could have extended him a long time ago. And so what happens is you want to show respect to guys. Hey, look, this is our offer. This is what we're willing to give you. Don't sign it right now. Go out and test free agency. Maybe someone values you more than what we can do, not what we're willing to do. Mm-hmm. If it was up to us, it would be an open checkbook. But reality sets in. There is a salary cap, and we have a lot of players. We've got 31 free agents over here. So this is what we're willing to offer you. Don't sign it right now. Go test free agency. Check out the teams that are willing to give you something, and then come back. That's a sign of respect. That's a sign of true value. And that's all. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he has a reason to be upset about that. I don't think that we overvalue him at all. All right, guys. We're gonna go longer here. We're at 33 minutes already. You two, give me like a thumbs down or a text or something when you guys are ready to go, because normally I go through about 15, 20 questions on here, and I think we've gone through 5. So let's see how far we go. No, it's all good. It's all good. I've never done one with other people on here, so it's okay. All right. This is a generic question. How you feeling with everything going on with our empire? The Niners are going to be in good hands.
Panthers no, okay, I'm sorry.
Is that what y'all call yourselves?
No, not at all. I'm just being a jerk.
Oh, okay. Is it nation? What is it like?
Panthers Nation. Panthers Nation.
And what is it for the Cardinals, if you don't mind me asking?
Kyler Murray. Juice box Kyler territory.
Is it because he's little, like a kid?
Just because he's crying and complaining right
Red
now.
Wave. Is that real, or was that just negotiating for a contract? Because I feel like I felt like
he just wanted 3 years in. Let me get paid. My coach and GM just got extended off my back. That's what it seemed like to me.
In the last 2 years, we have seen all the quarterbacks negotiate their contracts through the public. They don't want me. I'm out of here. Look at what Aaron Rodgers did. You know what I'm saying? I think Kyler Murray's doing it. I think Russell Wilson was doing that, and Seattle was like, well, then get the fuck out of here then. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it backfired on Russell. I don't think he wanted to leave. That's all he knows.
I think part of him did want to leave if they didn't correct the way that he wanted things corrected. But I mean, no, it's bigger than that. Unfortunately, it's not a negotiation. I mean, it's a negotiation attempt, but the Cardinals aren't negotiating with him. The Cardinals have already told him We are not extending you. You are not a leader right now, or showing or conveying you're a leader. He refused to go back onto the field in the playoff loss to snap the final snap with his teammates. He refused. He's not a leader.
Is that documented, or is that opinion of people?
No, I mean, it's widely reported. It's widely reported.
I
He's
heard
also
it. I
widely
didn't believe
reported. Even Larry Fitzgerald Sr. talked about how selfish he is, and there's a lot of chatter about how he's isolated in the locker room. He sticks to himself. He treats it like like not a team sport. He doesn't motivate anybody. He has a lot to prove before this Cardinal organization's ready to go out on a limb, because it's not about losing Kyler. People make those blanket statements like, oh, but you got to lock down a quarterback. Quarterbacks are so, look, he's locked down already. This is his fourth year. We have a fifth-year option that we can pick up. Then we can franchise tag him if we want. He's not going anywhere unless he quits and tries to play baseball because it won't be as easy as he thinks. But Kyler, it's more than a negotiation ploy. The reason that letter came out, that almost ransom kind of letter that he released, was because he already got pushed to his limit of saying the Cardinals aren't going to do anything. And this guy's creating a toxic environment, which is why the Cardinal fan base as a whole wanted Watson. We wanted Watson. We wanted Watson for over a year, and the Cardinals aren't looking into it.
Let me ask you this really quick, and then we'll move on, right? But you mentioned how he's not a leader and he's kind of like isolated on the island. He has a very heavy and serious baseball background. And I know a lot of baseball players on the side, like the minor league and stuff like that. They're isolated guys because as much as baseball is a team sport, it is not a team sport. You got your one zone that you're responsible for, and then you're up to bat. It's you versus the pitcher, and then it's you in your zone. So do you think that has something to do with it? I'm not here to motivate men. Like, I'm the rookie. Why are you guys asking me to motivate you guys? Like, do you think that has a part of it? Because Kyler Murray, wasn't he drafted high in the baseball draft?
Top 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, that was a legitimate option for him. You
know
think
what he said?
That has anything to do with it?
You know what he said? People say you're crazy to want to get rid of Kyler for Watson, or you're crazy to want to trade Kyler in general. Kyler Murray was drafted in the top 10, said, I'll be right back. I'm going to get some ice. I will be playing. Don't worry. And walked away from baseball. So he has a track record, you could say, even if it's that one scenario, that's a big example of being able to walk away from something that you have committed to. And he doesn't like to get hit. He's smaller. That's why he scrambles outside the pocket. He developed that kind of play style because he doesn't like getting hit, and he can't necessarily see over the line the same way another quarterback can anyway. So sitting in the pocket's tough for him. That's why Hopkins was brought over, because Deshaun Watson and Hopkins had the best outside the pocket quarterback receiver catch game in football. And so Kyler caters to throwing outside the pocket. Hopkins was great for him. We were the best team in the National Football League for half of a year last year. And I know a lot of people circle back to that and say, well, Kyler did that. Kyler did have a role in that for sure. And he looked electric. He looked great. But the moment he lost Hopkins, the moment things fell apart at all, the dude did step up. The dude crumbled. And then he got banged up, which was not his fault, but literally proved that if one thing goes wrong, he can't put it all on his back and carry the team. Had he at least been a leader, Mike, had he at least been a leader about it and failed and didn't carry the team, but was like vocal, was motivating, went back on the field, took that snap with the team, wasn't isolated in the locker room, I bet you we would have said, we'll give him an extension. Because what's the one reason you give a player an early extension? Fear that they're going to go get more money somewhere else, or you're going to lose them. There's no fear for us. We literally don't see what we want out of him, and we have him locked up for literally as long as we want in the foreseeable future, 3 years, 4 years, because we have his option this year and then potentially franchise tag him. You know, would he be happy? I don't know. Will he hold out? I think he'll try. We know he won't follow through unless he just quits.
Right.
But I think he will hold out. This whole putting everybody back on his social media, that's a very baby step. You know, people think he's turned things around because he put everything back on his social media.
Yeah.
Like I
still think that's negotiation tactics. Like I said, I'm not discrediting anything that you're saying, but we saw Aaron Rodgers do the same thing. He posted the pictures of them at the during the national anthem, and he cropped himself out and shit like that. Like, he knew he wasn't going anywhere. Aaron Rodgers is not playing for another team. It's not happening. He would have to break a leg and his throwing arm for them to move on from him. It's not all they do is win 13 plus games a year and make it to the NFC Championship and lose.
But Kyler's is different because the team's already said no. Like it isn't like they're in the middle of negotiations. The team has said, look, like what they said to him is prove it to us, according to reports. Prove it to us, and then we'll talk. And he doesn't want to prove it. He wants it now. That's why people are calling him Kryler. He wants it now. He wants it now, Mike. He doesn't want to prove anything.
It's
anymore.
An agent thing, though, too. Like, you guys got to remember that. Like, he's got his agent is supposed to represent his best interest, right? Hey, you're 3 years into this right now. They just had their best season they've had in a long time. Like you just said, we were the best team in the NFC or in the NFL for 9 weeks. We were the number one team in the NFL. Nobody wanted to play us. We beat all the top dogs. Like, we got it right now. Now's your chance. Now's your time. That's the agent talking, and he's got to play that game, right? Whether he wants to or not. That's smart by the agent. Let's try to get it. And you ask, why would somebody extend somebody 3 years in when you got him for 5, right? It's because of fear of projection. If he keeps getting better, we're not going to be able to afford that contract. Let's lock him in right now. I think that they don't project him to improve significantly more than what they've seen already. And that's where it gets scary. That's where it gets scary.
Not to mention, why do you want a guy locked up that's creating toxic environment? Take play out of it.
Yeah.
Like what he's doing right now is creating a lot of turmoil. Yeah. And I don't think people think it'll go away if he gets the money. Will it? Will he be talking about baseball? Will he be wanting to go play People are saying he wants to do the Bo Jackson thing, play both sports. Yeah, that's going to work out real well for the Cardinals if he starts taking half his talents to the MLB and trying to work that route. It's crazy. It's crazy talk. And the Cardinals aren't having it right now. They could change their mind. And I always say this, Mike, after every time I bash Kyler and the Cardinals in this situation, because I'm a Cardinal fan, I always make sure I come back around and say, if Kyler turns this around and starts showing he could be a leader, I will support him and I will be back motivated to be behind him. Yeah, but right now, I can't condone this.
Yeah, that's all you guys need. You need him to be a locker room guy. He gets that, and all of a sudden, the league is in trouble. I'll be honest with you. Abel and Dylan both ask a very similar question. Where's Brian? Guys, Brian stepped away. He said that, it was a lot of arguing, whether it was in a group chat or on the shows and things like that, arguing with the faithful. He was like, football is more fun when you don't have to debate everything. And I want to remind everybody one more time that Brian was originally brought in with nothing but Niners to be a writer. And he got a spot on the show one night, just asking if he wanted to do it. And it became a regular thing. His gift and his passion was writing, not necessarily being an on-air personality. So that was something that he was kind of like, pushed into, and then he didn't really want to do that. All right. 49er Jeff is going to ask a question. Let's let Kenan answer this one on his own so we can get a couple more of them. Will McCaffrey be on the Carolina roster next
season? Absolutely will. His contract makes it basically impossible. You're going to be giving up a lot. You're going to be hurting yourself, crippling yourself a lot if we get rid of him.
That dead cap number is just insane.
It's ridiculous.
It's I think it was 36 million or something like that. The dead cap.
That's whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I saw it once and I was like, okay, he's on the team for a while.
Yeah. DJ Malone has one for you. He says, Kenan, what's your favorite color Panthers jersey? Are you a fan of other pro sports franchises? And who would you say are your biggest out of division rivals? Cousin rivalry with Mike growing up. All right, let's go. All right, he loaded you up here, man. You got a lot.
Okay, so favorite color, this one right here, the electric blue.
I like it.
Fan of other pro? I for a while I was rooting for the Celtics back when they had the big three and Rondo was a rookie. That I started rooting for them and I was rocking with. I said I was going to rock with them till they broke up the big three and I did. I tried to stick with them for a year after. It did not last. I was on the Steph train for a while, and other than that, nope. I'm a big wrestling fan. So college wrestling, senior level wrestling. I watch a lot of that. Biggest out of division rivals. I've always felt like that was the Seahawks. At least within the last decade or so. Now lately, that's not been the case these last 4 or 5 years, but before that, it seemed like we played them every single year. Cousin rivalry with Mike growing up. So Mike and I are 6 years apart. Is that what it is? So we didn't really grow up side by side.
Right.
It's always been I've just been looking up to my big cousin wanting to hang out with him and all that. And eventually I was old enough to hang out with my big cousin. So I wouldn't say it was much of a rivalry. Once I got older, like we still to this day will have like debates and pose questions to each other, literally just one-on-one. If half of the conversations we had were recorded, y'all would be cracking up all the time. So
yeah.
And it's just like challenge each other. And I don't know that it was intentional in the beginning, but like we do get each other thinking and all that. But I don't know that there was like I don't think, Mike, you correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think it was necessarily a cousin rivalry growing up because just the age difference.
And see, I think
there would have been no reason for that.
Yeah, most people don't come from families as big as ours. Like cousin rivalries would get exhausting in a family as big as ours. So
yeah,
I mean, we're one of what 30 plus.
I was trying to tell somebody yesterday, and I don't think I got the number right. So
no, it's just too many first cousins for that to happen. Gerald says, Mike, did you see Trent on I Am Athlete and how he was talking about his tumor? What do you think about that? You know what's funny? Not funny. So I was listening to him describe the tumor that he had in Washington on his hairline for 5 years and how the bump was just slightly growing a little bit more and more and more. If you guys watched our earlier show that we did at 9 o'clock earlier in the day, the free agency awaits. I mentioned very briefly that I have a very important doctor's appointment tomorrow. So I listened to the I Am Athlete podcast, and Trent was talking about how he had this small bump on his hairline for 5 years. And every time he asked the team doctors about it, it was like, oh, we think it's just a cyst. Don't worry, it's just a cyst. We'll get it later. We'll get it later. We'll get it later. We'll get it later. And then 5 years later, he gets it checked out, and it's this rare form of cancer, right? I have this bump up here in my hair that it's been here for a couple of years, and it's on my scalp. And listening to that podcast in particular scared the shit out of me. So I called my doctor immediately, and I have an appointment at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning because I just don't want that to happen to me. Mm-hmm. So that lets you know how I felt about that. I listened to that. I learned something, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this shit cut off and checked out and just make sure I don't have some kind of rare brain cancer because, better safe than sorry. So it's something that I had been taking for granted. I got locks. Like no one else can see it. I'm not worried about what it looks like to other people. But it's definitely a bump that's been on the top of my head for years that I've just been ignoring and going on. He had it for 5 years, and they were like, hey, that's serious. Like he talked to the doctor after like he realized he was going to an oncologist, and he said, hey, so is this it for my football career? The doctor was like, football is the least of your worries. He was like, do you have children? He's like, yeah, I got daughters. He said, you might want to spend as much time with them as possible. Like that's how serious this little ass bump on his head turned into. And so, Duck, Kenan, you know how I am with my family, like with my children. That shit hit home for me like that. So I was like, yeah, hey, Doc, I got a bump on my head. Like, I want to get this shit looked at. So that's where my appointment is for tomorrow. I don't know if they're just going to send me somewhere else. It could be an in and out thing, and they send me somewhere else to get it looked at. But I listened to that literally today, and I called my doctor before the episode was over. So it was a very good episode. If you guys want to hear some more,
keep us posted, man.
Yeah, I absolutely will. And you guys should check out that Silverback documentary. He covers all that stuff in there as well. Mark, he says, what's up, OG Big Mike? How was your day, big dog? And again, I appreciate when people ask me that because I don't get asked that a lot. My day was great. Got to spend time at work, got to call some havoc at work, and I got home at a decent hour, did a little bit of overtime afterwards. I was on call. You guys saw me on the 9 o'clock show. Does Kenan hope Jimmy G replaces Darnold?
So if we don't get Watson, I'd like either Jimmy G or Mariota, but I'm also a huge Oregon fan, so I'm biased. Mike's been telling me to get off the Mariota train for a while. I love him. You remember how much I supported DeLone back in the day?
I do. His other question says, if Saints get Watson, how pissed is Payton he's not there anymore? Let's give that one to Smitty.
I mean, is there a chance that he gets brought back?
I don't know. I was going to ask you the same thing.
Like
what
really
term did he leave on?
We haven't really. I don't know. We haven't really seen this happen before, but I mean, anything's possible. Maybe that's part of the thing. I don't know. I mean, look at Brady. When Brady comes back, all these people keep like rising from the dead.
All these free agents that weren't committed are all of a sudden like, hey, I'll come back, right?
Yeah.
But
I don't know
let me
how
ask
that
you
would
guys
work.
a question. I don't know if you guys know this, and Smitty, you answer first. When Payton left, did they promote from within? Or did they hire outside?
Yeah, they brought up what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. Allen, right?
Isn't it Dennis Allen? Dennis Allen? Is that? Oh,
so, yeah.
The D coordinator, Dennis Allen.
Yeah. So he was brought. So I could see him. It'd be weird. But I could see it being one of those like unorthodox, like, okay, he's going to step over and be the, I don't know what, but it probably won't happen, but I could see it happening. I mean,
they would love to have him back as the offensive play caller. They would jump at that.
Yeah. You think Payton would come back?
No other role, they would bring him back as an offensive play caller for sure.
Yeah. I think that could. We'll see. What's your guys' gut? If you already talked about or mentioned this, but what's your gut say? What's going to happen? Because it's probably going to happen tomorrow or the next day. What gets announced? Is it Cleveland? Is it the Saints or is it the Panthers?
I have no idea.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers. I don't know why. I know that Arthur Blank has a personal relationship with him from the time he was there younger, but I can't see them moving on from Matt Ryan. I don't know what his dead cap number is. I have no idea what Matt Ryan's dead cap number is. But
I think they said like $55 million if it's pre-June 1.
For dead cap?
I was watching something like 20 minutes before we got on this. Yeah, I think they said $55 million if it's pre.
So you can take them off of the books. Like that. That's not gonna happen. I understand you like him, but I don't think you do unless they don't plan on signing anybody else, and he's the future.
Dead cap value of 55.
Yeah,
overall, bro. That's overall.
Like those are numbers that you normally hear in the first year of a big deal, not in the fourth year.
But he's only got like 2 years left.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's insane to me.
Yeah, it says right here. Here's his contract. Cap hit 36 mil. Dead cap and under the 2022 column says 55 mil.
What? What year? What did it say? What year he signed that deal?
Signed a 5-year deal in 20. Let's see.
19?
I don't know when the extension was.
Right?
I feel like
been there. Yeah, I don't know when the extension was. I'm not sure. It seems awfully weird. That column of 55 mil it can't be. His contract is awful. His contract.
Yeah, that is terrible. That dead cap number. They can't move on from him. You're not willing to move on from Christian McCaffrey, and it costs half that. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't know. Matt Ryan. There's got to be some way that they're looking at this from an angle we don't see.
I have no idea. I don't know. It's
Can you imagine paying 2 quarterbacks over $70 million?
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
I don't like the idea of the Panthers paying Watson and Darnold because I don't think there's any way. I don't think anybody's going to take Darnold off our hands. He'd
be a great backup though, and that goes to the last.
Not at $18.5 million, bro.
I mean, I'm just saying. Did Kenan know Carolina was mid when they were 3-0?
What does he mean by mid? Like all
right, so like you ever hear people like they talk about like now that weed is legal everywhere, right? So they talk about like weed, like, oh, what you got? Like you got something exotic or is it just some mid? Like it's just
so like, we weren't real contenders. Yeah, I was drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. Like and I knew Darnold was a problem. I knew the O-line was a problem. And I was still, hey, that defense is real. We got this. Darnold's taking care of the ball. Like I was all in.
Okay. I like it. Smitty, this one is for you from DJ. He says, Smitty, what's popping? Are you a fan of other pro sports franchises? Your opinions on steak fries. By the way, DJ Malone always has the food questions. Always.
I love steak fries. I love fries. I love steak. I love mashed potatoes. And like my last meal would be a steak with a loaded baked potato with sour cream and cheese. And, I love that. But steak fries, I love all fries. Shake Shack's got the best when the seasoned fries. Those are the best fries on the planet right now. And then the other question is other sports. I'm in Phoenix. I'm right next to the Suns arena. So I'm a big Suns fan, always have been. Past that, I don't have a lot of time. I love college football. I love March Madness. I love college basketball. I love college football. Not a big baseball guy, but March Madness starts tomorrow. It starts Thursday. I can't wait. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I hear you guys. I'm scrolling down some more here. All right, here we go. Let's do two more. I'm gonna try to get one for each of you guys here. Hey, Kenan, who was your favorite Panthers player of all time?
That's a little.
Wait, let me take a guess.
Steve
Wait,
Smith.
what did you just say? Did you say that's hard?
I was gonna say it's a loaded question. I honestly don't. You take your guess.
I'm gonna say Jake Delhomme because you just would not shut up about him for years. So that's where my answer goes. I don't know what the answer is, but that's what I think.
So Cam is leapfrog Jake for me. Yeah, Cam leapfrog. So Cam is up there, Smitty's up there. And then I've got personal favorites. Like when I first started paying attention, right? Oregon, my team, because they're the Ducks. Y'all call me Duck. And we drafted Jonathan Stewart, the first draft I ever paid attention to. So I loved him his whole tenure with us. But honestly, it's probably Cam. I'd say Cam.
All right. Wow. I mean, you just Jake the Snake, Jake Delhomme.
Listen, I love D'Angelo too. Love Pep. It's hard to pick one favorite. And I love defensive players in general. So
yeah.
Kuechly did his dang thing. Thomas Davis. Like it's hard to pick just one.
I remember you trying to tell me that they were better than Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman.
Kuechly was. Yeah. The duo.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, the duo was. I'll take that duo over them.
No way. But it's okay. I mean, look.
Willis was a monster, though. Willis
Willis and Bowman together were just incredible.
And I feel like Willis retired earlier than he should have, right? Like he
had a foot problem. Yeah,
he didn't retire as early as some of these other early retirements, but he still retired earlier than
only 8 years.
Yeah,
8 years, man. Smitty, this one's for you, and then we'll wrap this thing up here. So, would you trade Trey for Watson in some sort of package? And I'm going to add something onto this. If so, what would you try to package, knowing the 49ers restrictions, no first-round picks until 2024?
Yeah, it can't. I mean, it can't happen with picks and stuff. But I'll say this, and I get asked this question about 8
and
times.
And include players, by the way, because I would throw Kittle in there, by the way.
Yeah. I get this question about 8 times a day. And my answer is always the same. It's that as much as even if you were offering Trey, you know how much I love Trey. I just literally, spouted off about it for a while. I wouldn't want Trey. I wouldn't even trade for him as a Cardinal fan because where I come from a fantasy football analyst perspective. That's first. It's what I do. It's my job. I live in this studio all day. Like what I'm focused on is that. And for Trey Lance, I don't want him anywhere else but in San Francisco. It's a perfect environment. If there was some sort of Trey Lance trade, that would ruin Trey's upside and potential outlook going to Houston. And Watson will survive wherever he goes. So from my perspective, I don't want it. I want Watson going somewhere else. I want Trey staying where he is. And then you have 2 elite top 6, quarterbacks in the NFL. So I don't want him traded. But if let's say you force me, I'm making the decision for the Niners to make the trade happen. I mean, honestly, if you're including Trey, as you mapped out, Mike, beautifully, you already treating him like he's multiple first round picks. And so if I was going to trade him, which I wouldn't, he would have to constitute 2 of those first round picks. And if you were given an additional first round pick, that's the only deal you could even consider doing. Otherwise, you're giving up 5 first round picks. You can't do that. So for me, wouldn't do it. Don't want it. I want Trey to thrive right in San Francisco. That's where he belongs. But anybody would be lucky to have him. Like if it happened, you'd be excited about it. Like you said, Mike, either way, you're not going to be upset about it, but homegrown's more fun. I'm sure Tampa fans are excited they have a Super Bowl, but do you think for a second they believe that isn't more Tom Brady's Super Bowl than it is, the fan base's Super Bowl? So I think it's going to be much more. You might get more out of it too. I firmly believe with Trey Lance, you guys win 1 Super Bowl in the next 3 years, easily.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I said the same thing. Someone said, does he did it with Jimmy? Do we get the same production from Jimmy that we got from Trey Lance? And I said 1 Super Bowl appearance in 3 years. Yeah, I think so. I absolutely think so. So I have no reason to disagree with you there. And that's going to be where we wrap this one up. Guys, we were supposed to be going 15 minutes. We ended up going for 45 plus. So you guys are incredible. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity here to plug your personal social media platforms if you'd like, or if there's a charity or something like that that you guys like to promote. I'm going to give you guys a solo stream. Let's start with Smitty here. All right. We'll give Smitty the solo layout. Plug yourself away, pause, and let people know where to find you.
Yeah, everything's at smitty1.com. That's kind of where everything's collectively. My link tree, so to speak, but it's a site, a website. But youtube.com/ the Fantasy Football Show is my main bread and butter. So anybody wants to find me there, just go to youtube.com/ the Fantasy Football Show or thefantasyfootballshow.com. I'll send you there too. So appreciate you guys having me on.
No problem at all. My guy is always getting busy over there on Instagram and everything, and he's always on show. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna call him an undercover Niner fan until he comes out and says it. So I like it though, man. Thank you so much for coming on. And Kenan, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to promote, man?
Nothing to plug. Inteus 89, INTEUS 89, Instagram, Twitter. That's where I'm at. If you want to talk to me, talk football, wrestling, whatever, I'm there. So.
All right. And that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Thank you all very much for your time and your patience. I appreciate you guys for your participation as well. And guys, y'all know what to do, man. Prepare for glory, anticipate pain, but always remain faithful. We're out of here. One.
We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, them nothing but Niners. Nothing but Niners.